Well, I guess it's just up to me to talk to you about sentence structure as we get into media writing and what comes after the lead. So that's next up. All right, let's talk about basic media writing again, the inverted pyramid style, and let's get into sentences, sort of those other things that come after the lead. This is the inverted pyramid, as we looked at just a bit ago. Important facts in the first paragraph, and then we move into some quotes and supporting details, maybe general background. We keep moving down in this structure. So let's think about a press release, news release, or breaking news story. Right? Those are our most common ways to use this summary lead. So it can look like a lot of different things depending on the information we need, but look at this. So just the facts, right? Some of the who, what, when, where, why, and how, not all of those things. No fluff, right? No fluff. Then more helpful information, right? So then we keep moving into some context, some other information, but it's not as important as what we had in the lead. It's still fairly important. We still hope that people will get down to that point. Then we move farther down the story, and people may not even make it this far. Somebody may stop reading before this. You may not have room in your press release to put it or in your story. So as we move farther and farther down the story, this has to be information that we could do without if we had to. Although, we hate to do without the stuff that we put in our story. Still, people have attention spans. So there's a couple of different ways we might put these things together. Really, there are a zillion ways we might. But so you have the lead, the facts that you decide go in the lead. Sometimes then the next thing we go to is a quote. So I like to take sort of the best quote that supports the lead and use that next. Then we have some facts and some more facts, maybe a paraphrase and another quote and some more facts. We just keep working down depending on the needs of the story and what will help the reader best understand the points we're trying to make. Or it could be we use the lead and then some supporting facts. Then a paraphrase, which introduces a speaker, then the person's quote, then some more facts, another quote. We keep moving down. You can see. So let's take a look at an actual story. Again, with Brett Kavanaugh. So the lead has the important facts that Trump nominated Brett Kavanaugh for the Supreme Court. Some basic facts. Then we have some more context. If confirmed, Kavanaugh would replace a swing vote, gives you a little more context. Then we have some more facts and background. Kavanaugh, 53, is a judge with the U.S. Court of Appeals, et cetera, more information about him. And then we come to a quote. And here's a quote about why he was chosen. So you keep moving down the story with information, and we may not even get to the bottom, right? That's just the way it is. So sentence length helps us move through the story. And we really use three types of sentences. Short sentences that have impact. We don't use a lot of those because we can be dramatically short and that can have much more impact, but it would be too choppy if we constantly did that. Medium length sentences, 17 to 23 words, somewhere in there. We make one or two key points, and those really move us through most of the story. Then longer sentences, which occasionally make sense, right? So a longer sentence kind of helps us stretch it out a bit, helps us really set a scene. We use fewer of those. So this is Columbia, which is an outerwear company, of course. And so this is actually the lead, just because it looks a little different the way they display it on their website still. Some call this a dream job, many don't. So very short sentences, sort of bringing you into the story to think like, what is this dream job? So here's the lead, and then we have whoever says there are no second chances didn't know that Columbia is now taking applications for what's arguably the best job in the world. Last year, Columbia created 2 positions for Director of Toughness. So second paragraph. Then the third paragraph, a unique position. The unique position was designed to allow 2 adventurers the chance to travel the world for 6 months while testing Columbia apparel. So let's look at the length of these sentences. 6 words, 2 words, very short. Again, a little bit of a rule breaker, but we did it to draw interest. Here's 2 sentences in this paragraph. The first one is 24 words, the next one is 10 words. Then we move to this and we have 2 similarly length sentences, 22 words, 23 words. We like to vary our sentence length. We don't want to become too staccato. We also don't want to become too wordy. And we also don't want to make grammar and spelling mistakes. We hate this. So the thing is, adventures, it's not adventures, it's adventurers, right? Adventurers. So, it's so easy to look over those things and not even see that mistake. This is on an important website. Mistake still up there. So don't stress the reader out, right, with really long sentences. This is a story about RG3, the former Baylor quarterback. And so it's not a bad little story, but listen, I'm going to try to read this sentence if I can. 62 words. Injuries, clashes with coaches, friction with teammates, and a lack of development as a pocket passer led to him tumbling from the NFL's Offensive Rookie of the Year, who made the Pro Bowl and led Washington to the playoffs in 2012, to the third-string quarterback who didn't play a snap last season and fill in as a scout safety during practices. Oh my gosh. That is such a ridiculously long sentence. And so much information, right? So that needs to be broken up. On the other hand, the writer did something sort of lovely here. Here's the last. He lost his status as a rising star. He lost his starting job. He lost his roster spot. That sort of cadence by those short sentences is done on purpose, right? So we couldn't create a whole story of that. That would be too much. But it is a good idea to take after a longer sentence, too long, but, tightened up a bit, to then give us this sort of short break. That can work well. We tried here. Don't do that. Again, rules and guidelines, they're really more like guidelines, but this is important. You can't break the rules until you know the rules, right? So it's okay for you to use creative leads and to break the rules, but you've got to know what the rules are and why you use them before you get to break them. So what's the strategy? Edit yourself many times, many times. Do not submit your rough draft. It needs to be edited by yourself, by somebody else, by the writing center. Read your work aloud. So if you read it aloud, you'll be able to hear where the problems occur. Read from the bottom up. That's one way to edit yourself. Sometimes if you aren't sure, especially for grammar, punctuation, word usage, things like that, go up through the story from the bottom to see what things might stick out and identify your weakness and edit for that. If you have a problem with commas, if you have a problem with run-on sentences, if you aren't sure about capitalization, that can help you if you're just editing just for that. Write quickly. We need to write quickly, but then edit slowly. Look for redundant words, things that you can take out. Too many prepositional phrases, too many after this happens, from this point. And figure out again your weakness, right? What's your kryptonite? What do you need to slow down and recognize that you could do better?